In November 1985, a hunter in Bear Brook State Park made a grim discovery. Hidden near a burned-down store was a rusted industrial barrel containing the bodies of a woman and a young girl. Autopsies revealed both victims died from severe blunt force trauma, but investigators immediately hit a wall. Neither body carried a single piece of identification, and there were no missing persons reports in the area matching their descriptions. 15 years later, a state trooper revisiting the area found something inexplicably missed. Just a short distance from the original crime scene sat a second barrel. Inside were the remains of two more young girls. Hundreds of leads were exhaustively chased down. Reconstructions of the victims' faces were broadcast across the United States and Canada, yet no one came forward to claim them. For decades, they were known only as the Allenstown Four. By stripping away their names and histories, the killer created a total vacuum of identity, effectively erasing these four people from the world for decades. While the barrel sat undiscovered, a drifter known as Bob Evans was living nearby. In 1981, Evans vanished from New Hampshire, taking his girlfriend, Denise Bodan, and her infant daughter with him. Bodan was never seen again. Evans resurfaced on the West Coast. In 1986, under a new alias, he abandoned Bodan's daughter at a California campground and fled. His trail went cold until 2002. Under the alias Curtis Kimball, he murdered his then-wife, chemist Yoon Jun. The murder of Jun finally put him behind bars, but he died in prison in 2010, and authorities were convinced the name Bob Evans was just another invention. He took his true legal identity to the grave. He used anonymity as his primary weapon. Whenever he killed or abandoned someone, he discarded his own name along with them, resetting his criminal footprint and walking away clean. By 2014, investigators in New Hampshire turned to a new tool for the Bear Brook cold case: advanced mitochondrial DNA profiling. Testing proved the adult woman was the biological mother of the oldest and youngest girls. The middle child was completely unrelated. Chemical signatures showed the mother and daughters lived in the northeastern United States before their deaths, while the middle child's origins remained a mystery. In 2017, investigators applied a technique called genetic genealogy to the phantom known as Bob Evans. By comparing his DNA sample to commercial genealogy databases, they mapped out distant relatives to trace his family lineage. The results unmasked Bob Evans as a Colorado native named Terry Rasmussen. A comparison of his DNA to the Bear Brook victims confirmed he was the biological father of the unrelated middle child. Traditional police work couldn't catch him, but molecular biology did. Forensic science tethered a transient killer directly to the rusted barrels in the New Hampshire woods. With a real name to follow, web sleuths and genealogists began tracking Rasmussen's movements backward, eventually landing in California in the late 1970s. By 2019, they matched his timeline to 3 missing people. The mother and her 2 daughters were identified as 24-year-old Marlise Honeychurch, 7-year-old Marie Vaughn, and 11-month-old Sarah McWaters. Around Thanksgiving in 1978, Marlise introduced her family to her new boyfriend, Terry Rasmussen. After an argument, she left the house with him and her 2 young girls. Her family never heard from them again. That left only Rasmussen's biological daughter. She remained unidentified for years as investigators worked toward a final forensic link in 2025. Using DNA, researchers tracked down the child's maternal relatives, leading them to a 1976 Orange County birth certificate. It listed the father as Terry Rasmussen and the mother as Pepper Reed, officially giving the final victim her name, Rea Rasmussen. By peeling back the layers of Rasmussen's aliases, investigators systematically destroyed the vacuum of identity he had carefully constructed, finally returning all 4 victims to their families. The Bear Brook investigation served as a crucial proving ground. The exact genetic genealogy techniques pioneered here would soon be used to catch other prolific serial killers across the country. Identifying Rea Rasmussen exposed one lingering, haunting question: what happened to her mother? Pepper Reed was last seen by her family in Texas during Christmas of 1975. She was pregnant at the time. She never contacted her family again, leading police to conclude she is another undiscovered victim of the chameleon killer. Authorities are actively searching for information regarding Pepper Reed's fate and are tracking Terry Rasmussen's unaccounted movements across the state of California, through Texas and Arizona, and back to New Hampshire, between 1974 and 1985. Forensic science can restore stolen names and rewrite history, but as long as names like Pepper Reed remain missing, the investigation into Rasmussen's decade of crimes continues.